Hello and welcome to our fifth and final part of this long video analysis I've done of Murad Murali's video, where he is apologizing and clarifying a lot of things. Once again, if you guys do not know who this man is and you're like, I do not know who this man is, then you need to check out part one, where I really explain in detail. But just to give you a very short summary, basically he used to run a channel where he talked about Love Island, and he was also an ally to Black women, or seen as a big ally to Black women. It then came out that he involved himself in race play and homophobic play, using racial and homophobic slurs on OnlyFans in years prior, and was exposed for doing such, and was then seen to be a hypocrite. He made up an apology video where he was saying pretty much that this is all a result of his childhood trauma. People didn't like the video, and so he has now made a follow-up video clarifying a few things and explaining more where he is at. So if you want to hear what we've said a lot up until this point. This is just the final video. Please check out part one and watch all the way through. I'm going to try and put this all in a playlist just to make it easy for you guys to watch, because then you can just play the playlist and not even worry about skipping this, that and the other. Other than that, guys, let's get straight into it. But before we do, if you feel in the vibe and you want to join the tribe, then you better hit that subscribe button, everybody, so that I know that you support me, because people don't really, YouTube ain't supporting a girl who's trying to speak the truth. So I need the people, I need the truth speakers and the truth seekers to support my channel. Thank you guys so much. Don't forget to like, don't forget to comment. Let's close this off. So we've been talking for ages, and if you guys are still following through, if you've come back all the way through to this video, guys, please put a 5 in the comment section. Put a 5 in the comment section. Let me know. Just say 5. That's just all I need to know, that you've watched all 5 videos. You're the realist. God bless you. So he basically goes on after all of this to say his experience motivates him so much to speak on all of this, and it's why he uses his platform in this way. I kind of touched on that point already, that I really feel like what he went through, and this is what I really feel, whether people recognize or acknowledge this or not, a lot of people who are speaking out about a lot of things, the reason why they're speaking out about it is it's a result of what they themselves have been through. It's because of what they have experienced that they feel it's so important to then share that, to then push certain ideals. And I think it's part of how the world is supposed to work. You know, when we go through stuff, there's 2 pathways we get to take. We either become the victor or the victim. And this is something I talk about a lot on here. How a lot of people are plagued with victimhood. They just want everybody to feel sorry for them. This, that, and the other. And I kind of like that he went from, in his first apology, kind of the victim to the victor. Now, saying that you're going to looking at yourself as a victor, not a victim, doesn't mean you disregard what you've been through. Doesn't mean you undermine it, you downplay it. Absolutely not, because you need to say it, and you need to go through the emotions, and you need to go through the feelings. I'm a big believer. I mean, I used to be somebody, guys, believe it or not, right? A lot of people who know me now know that I cry a lot, and I cry like a lot of stuff, okay? There's things I cry out, I cry. But funnily enough, up until the time that I was like 18, I used to not cry, like ever, or at least never in front of people, but like I would not cry. And it was weird. But then, and I used to do it because I was like, oh, you can't cry because this, that, and the other, like, don't feel sorry for yourself, don't have self-pity, blah, 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 blah. Like, that was the mentality. Then, you know what, eventually I started to cry, and I started to realize, you know what, when you cry, you release the feelings, and then you can move on to the next stage of the healing, and then you can move on to so what I'm saying is, it's okay to take the steps that you need to in healing. First of all, you do, to some extent, have to feel sorry for yourself in a way. You have to mourn what was lost, or whatever, what had happened. You have to address it. You have to let those emotions out. Otherwise, they're just going to start to bottle them up, and then they'll blow up in the end, which is what, and it can blow up in various different types of ways. And trust me, if you're a successful person, that I'll tell you now, I'll tell you for free, I'll give you a heads up that a lot of people, the reason why you've never blown up yet, if you feel like you've bottled stuff up and you've never had a breakdown, or things just all fall away, that's because that's exactly what Satan loves to do, because he likes to build you up to the peak top so that you can create the mass destruction once you then bubble up and things all come crashing down at the top. Because why would he knock you down at the bottom when you're only going to fall a little bit, when he can knock you down at the top and you're going to fall completely? Do you see what I'm saying? So yeah, so basically what I'm saying to you guys is, it's important to go through the stages, but then you also at a certain point have to become victorious over it and decide what you're going to use the energy that you experienced from that thing with. What are you going to use that to do? Are you going to use that to continue to be a victim? Are you going to use that to continue to look for opportunities to jab at people? Are you going to use that as a reason to be jealous and envious, resentful, unforgiving? Are you going to use that as a reason to be an a-hole? Are you going to use that as a reason to be a douchebag? Are you going to use that as a reason to just go around in the world and doing whatever? Or are you going to take that and make something of it and be empowered. And when you have been through stuff, I'm telling you, that type of level of driving force of like, I'm not gonna ever be like how this person was to me, or I'm gonna take whatever energy I went through with this and I'm gonna use it to protect others, is like the most strongest driving force you can possibly have on earth, I believe, as a human being. Because every day that you fight for those things, whatever it is, it doesn't have to be direct, it could be indirect, right? It could be that you just like to fight for people who've had injustices against them, because maybe you went through something similar to Murali. It doesn't mean you have to go and do what he's doing. You might decide to become an attorney, you might decide to become a lawyer because you want to defend people. And no one ever has to know that. You might be defending people when it comes to things that had nothing to do with what you went through, but you know that you are doing this for that reason. And I honestly think that that's where pain meets purpose. That's where what you went through helps to partner with what you were built to do on this earth, because you experience things that made you go through something, and then you discover you have this skill set. So even with somebody like Murali, right, he clearly, even though I wasn't a fan of his channel, right, for reasons I've discussed, because I was like, why are you so obsessed with the black women? I kind of get it now. But anyway, I respected his work ethic. He posted every day, and he says in his videos, daily and consistent content, and he's daily and consistent. He is daily and consistent, right? He was anyway. Now things are off the rail, which it's good that he actually had the wisdom to step away, because I think a lot of times people don't step away, and you need to step away for as long as you need to. Some people, they step away for like 2 weeks. Some people really needed to step away for like some months, like step away kind of thing. But anyway, so my point being, he was obviously got the skill set of both his pain, and he used his pain and what he'd been through, and he partnered it with the purpose of, I'm going to stop this in other people, right? And he was able to do that through his videos. People liked his videos, they were informative, he was telling people about what was going on, he was speaking on something that was important to people, you know, yada 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 yada, giving a different perspective, giving an opportunity for people to have all of these discussions. So in doing that, right, whether he's saying it directly or not, he was helping others. Maybe there's younger people, older people, whoever, watching his videos, realizing when he speaks on one injustice that it's telling them of an injustice in their life. Maybe they get to stop going through that sooner than he has to. This is the same reason with me on YouTube. I'm like, why do I talk about so much stuff? Because I tell you guys all the time, I'm trying to prevent you from going through things. I'm trying to help get you to live happy, healthy, wealthy, healed, abundant, thriving lives. That's what I want for everybody. So when I say stuff, I don't say stuff to upset people. I don't say stuff to be controversial. I'm called controversial, but I'm not controversial. I'm countercultural, and because culture wants to have you feeling like a victim, because a victimhood makes it easy to cancel people and us all be upset online. I talk about this with the two sides of the same coin of the red pill community versus the toxic femininity, and how on both sides it's like men who've clearly been hurt by women and women who've clearly been hurt by men. Neither sides are thriving. Everybody's upset, everybody's angry, right? This is what I'm talking. That's cultural. Me saying to you that, you know what, men, there are women out there who are not like some of the women you've been through, who would love you well and do the right thing by you. There are good women out there. Me saying to the women, there are men out there who are not going to be like the men out there, whatever. Yes, that's countercultural. People see me as controversial, saying, oh, you know, women, it's okay to do this. Yeah, maybe because not every man is going to take advantage of you. So yes, if you don't want to work with me, not every man's going to take advantage of you. That's not controversial, but that's how it comes across, and that's what it is. And so I think it's important when we see this. This is why I'm talking about this, because I'm trying to help some of you guys, especially people who wonder like, why have I been through the stuff that I've been through? Why is this happening to me, right? Unfortunately, we live in a world where everybody has free will, right? This thing that we're all fighting for all the time. Oh, we want the rights to do this, we want the rights to do that, right. And the people who have offended you have used their free right, their free will to do what they wanted to do. That's the point. That's the point of it all. That's the problem. The only way we're going to stop this is the more people who've been through stuff who can actually speak out on it, people who are prepared to be controversial and say the truth and speak the truth, the quicker, the less and less times it's going to happen, because then people are going to be healed, and then be healthy. And healthy people create healthy relationships. Healthy relationships form healthy families, healthy villages, healthy families and villages create healthy children, create healthy legacy. Do you see what I'm saying? There's all this talk about generational curse, this, that, and the other. The only way you're going to overcome that is you have to become that person that can actually facilitate that happening in the first place, right? And that's why the victim versus victor mentality is so important, because when you're a victim, everything's wrong with everybody else. You're just everything's happening to you, and you're so sorry for yourself. When you're a victor, you take accountability for your life. You're like, you know what? I don't care what I've been through, and I don't care what you said or you said or you said. I'm going to win at this life, and I am going to do what I need to do regardless of you. And you know what? Because of what you did, I'm going to do what I'm going to do so well. So well that I'm going to be drinking champagne, right, from a diamond encrusted champagne flute. This is what I envisioned, by the way, guys. Drinking champagne, the most expensive champagne, thinking about the people who did certain things to me and the things I've experienced. And I cannot wait for that cold glass of champagne one day. I can't wait for it. Do you see what I'm saying? Because that is the victor mentality. And when you start to do that, when you start to speak on it, even you speaking and helping, that process also brings healing, because then you start to hear people's stories. This is where there's these great corners of the internet where when you're not on the victim side, where you're all red pill, blue pill, we're all arguing Andrew Tate, so and so forth, H2, blah, blah, blah. When you're not on that corner of the internet, you'll be on the other corner of the internet, which I love, where you find people talk about something that they've been through, and then in the comment section is flooded with people all sharing their stories, and you see people from all over the world. You see somebody in India, you'll see somebody in Russia, you'll see somebody in Argentina, all who've been through what you've been through, and then you're like, whoa, I'm not crazy, this is cool. And then they talk about how they're doing so much better now. They walked away from that. Now they're running, they run a huge 6-figure company. Now they're having a thriving family. They have 5 kids and they're happy. They never thought they would have this. They are victorious. They are victors, and they're telling you, you can have this as well. It's okay. This is what it's all about. That's the difference between the two. And so I like that he did that, and I hope he truly is, like, obviously he can say whatever, and you guys know me, I'm not necessarily saying I believe everything people say, but I more just talk about things as hypotheses, as in it could be how it is and it couldn't be how it is, but let's discuss all options and what it would mean. Either way, he's saying that he started therapy, he's been in therapy for a while, and he stopped doing all that stuff, and he's been working on this stuff in private, and this is the stuff really that motivates him to use his platform in the way that he does. He says he did what he did for money, but it doesn't matter why he did it. I like that he says that, to be fair, because I personally think that part of it was for money, and part of it was also his lack of self-worth and his wanting to, his almost like, what do you call it? When you've been treated, when you've been prey, it's easy to be prey again. It's very easy to be prey again. So I think a part of it was also, it was easy for him to be prey. And I think part of him was also teetering on that line of like, do I just throw myself into becoming the predator myself? Or am I going to really stick with trying to be the prey? Because I mean, he was being kind of predatorial, to be honest, in some of those videos that were out. So I think for him, there was a battle there. I'm not so sure it was only for money. I feel part of it, he did enjoy kind of being in that position, but I guess he must have overcome it somehow. So if he did, then thank God. He says he feels like he let everyone down. Oh yes, this is the other part I wanted to talk about. And it says it was pathetic and there is no excuse. I don't feel he let everybody down. I feel like he let people let him down. I feel like we all let each other down. Yes, did he let people down because... And did he let people down? Yes and no, to be honest with you. Yes, because he was hypocritical, as I've acknowledged, in some of his actions. And he did kind of make it out like, from how he was seen online, people would think he would never have been involved in stuff like that. But albeit, I have to also throw the question out there that how responsible are creators to have to tell people about their past lives? Because I kind of feel like, do I need to now come online and kind of tell people of anything I have said or done in the past that doesn't agree with what I'm doing now? Am I instantly going to be seen as a hypocrite, even if that's not how I think or what I believe or whatever anymore? I've healed for something is a question I have to ask. And that's why him feeling like, I know why he says he's let everybody down, is because, again, what I said, people take ownership. People take your actions and they feel entitled to something. So people feel like the people who've been affected by this type of stuff that he was doing are going to feel entitled to his apology, entitled to him justifying himself, blah blah blah. Realistically, they are misfiring, because the person they should be directing that energy to is the people who hurt them, not to him. But I do think that it was good for him to say that he feels like he let people down and acknowledge his disappointment, because I would feel disappointed to disappoint you guys. That's why I always tell you guys know I've got, for those of you who've been around, I have a couple videos where I'm like, listen guys, by the way, just remember I'm not perfect. As much as you agree, as much as you love me and I love you, I'm not perfect. Because I want to remind you guys that God forbid I say something or you discover something about me that you don't like, right? You understand that, like, I don't know if there's ever a possible way for me to even have had a platform, or for anybody to, and have told everybody every single thing that they might have wanted to know. Do you see what I mean? And that's why I also think this social media thing, it's made us, there's no separation. The problem with the thing about celebrities that I think is more beneficial for them than for influencers is celebrities can more easily build the wall. So their work is their work, and who they are is kind of separate. That's why a lot of them do crazy things, but they'll still be in like the best movie. The problem with content creators and influencers, which is sad because generally fans like influencers because they can be closer to them because it's somebody who actually responds in their comments, or who they can responds to them on Instagram, or who pays attention to their comments and stuff like that. But the other problem with that is then the viewer, the fan, feels a more higher sense of entitlement to that person's actions and that person's life, and feels more like they deserve to know what's going on. And that puts a lot of pressure on influencers who maybe just want to have a cooking channel, who maybe just want to have a gaming channel, who maybe just want to talk about stuff going on in the world, just sharing their thoughts, nothing to do with what's going on. And I feel like this is something that Murali fell victim to, because I don't necessarily think he was purposefully, intentionally hiding all of this, because I feel like a lot of it was entangled with his childhood trauma, which is why he went off in the way he did on his first video, because he was triggered by everybody being so upset, and he's like, you guys don't even know. But so I kind of get where he's coming from in that regard. But at the same time, once it comes up, he does now, because he's an influencer, people feel entitled for him to address this stuff. And so that's just another thinking point. Not to say that you guys have to agree or disagree with me, but it's a thinking point for us as society as far as pressure put onto influencers. Because I notice influencers will really shift what they do for the sake of, you know, their fans. And in a large extent, that's why I think a lot of content creators stop creating content, even if there's not like a big scandal that comes out about them. Just people being upset that like, oh, we don't like your content now, like it's not what it used to be, or we this, that, and you did this and we don't like that, and this isn't this and this isn't that. You start trying to please everybody, and then you can't please everybody. And I think a lot of them just get sick of it, and they're like, you know what, forget it, I'm coming off of YouTube now, because now what started off as me just wanting to share and build a community has become me trying to please millions of people who all feel entitled to telling me exactly what to do and how to make my videos, what I should and shouldn't be sharing about, and feel entitled to know about what's going on in my life, you know. And so I really think we all need to give ourselves a bit of a reality check as to how we treat our influencers and celebrities. Honestly, I don't envy them at all. I don't, because because I realized, and I'm realizing more and more, right, as I've already exposed so much of the evil that's already exists in the entertainment industries, and that a lot of these celebrities and influencers are involved in. Don't get me wrong, I'm not absolving people who've done evil from the evil they've done, but the fans, the supporters can be involved in evil. This cancel culture business is also problematic. This entitlement that comes from fans of like, you are the product, and you make videos I want, and you do what I want, it's disgusting. I find it really ugly. When I see people doing that, I find it really ugly. It's like I told you guys about how when Rihanna came out that she was having a baby, and people were like, we don't care about the baby, where's the album? It's like, baby, is you a fan, or did you think this was McDonald's? Did you think you were just finna pull up and get another Big Mac and a large fries and a Coke? This ain't McDonald's. This ain't a business for you. This is this woman's life. She's having a baby. If she wants to take off a year, by all means. And just to even wrap it up, to say with all of this, you know, and he says he's learning anyways and processing what he needs to do, and the captions are not by him, even though a lot of people think they were. I'm going to take his word for it on this account, although I don't know. It'd be very easy for him to just deny it for the end of time, which a lot of people do stuff like that, so we'll never know. But what I will say, the take-home messages from a lot of this, there were a lot of take-home messages. If you guys haven't watched all the way through, go back and watch from the beginning. You may want to go back and watch through again when you realize how hard it's hitting now. When you hear the starting point again, you might be like, oh my gosh, it really hit really hard. But the point is here, guys, there are a lot of areas in society, going back to this victor versus victim hood thing, right? We in society and the entitlement, there's a lot of layers to a lot of things that go on, and I think we need to be a lot more understanding in society. I think as fans, as viewers, as consumers, we need to have a lot more grace for the creators out there, understand they're human beings. I think we all need to be a little bit more, way more honest about what we've all actually been through, and stop pretending that a lot of this stuff doesn't commonly happen. I talked about this before, how even when it comes to molestation of children, we put all this emphasis into stranger danger and don't talk to people you don't know and blah blah blah, when the majority of people who are being offended, children are being offended, is by people that relatives or people who are close to them who are trusted. So it's like we want to completely ignore the elephant in the room, that really the problem is amongst families, right, and things, and close familial or friendly connections and put all the blame onto these random pedophiles, and they're making up a way significantly smaller percentage of who's actually offending them. And it's all of these things in society, again, these societal norms, where someone like myself will be seen to be controversial, pointing stuff like that out. And it's like, I'm not countercultural, I'm not controversial, I'm countercultural. And unfortunately, a lot of culture, even with Murad Murali, as we talk about, he said it, because of his culture, it's more difficult for him to speak about his stuff. Because of his culture, the culture he comes from, the culture he now lives in, the dynamics that work when those two come together is why a lot of this fetishization happens in the first place. So I think we need to really stop and think about why we do things, and we just need to rebuke this whole hypnotism in the name of Jesus that's on us, where we just blindly follow and listen to things that just don't make any logical sense, and start to think for ourselves. You know, so I wish him the best. I honestly was very upset from his first video. I'm glad I didn't say anything then. And if I did, I don't know if I took down the video. I don't know if I put the video up, but I feel like I didn't put the video up. I do wish him the best. I feel like I've covered a lot, guys. Please do let me know your thoughts in the comment section, because I tell you, you might not know that when I say this, I know people don't believe me, and it's because majority of the time when people say this, they don't mean it. I genuinely want to hear your honest thoughts. I really do, because I'm one person, I have one perspective. There are nearly 8 billion of us on this planet Earth. So I, in my own one perspective, am never going to get it right. Or you know what's going to put us on the path to that? Us all discussing it together. And we have some really interesting conversations in the comment section. Sometimes I speak to you guys. If you guys want to hit me up on Twitter, search at Queendom TV now on Twitter. If you guys ever want to tag me and stuff that you want me to speak about and stuff, you guys can do that over there. I don't usually check the TL loads and loads, but if you tag me, I always check what I've been tagged in and my DMs over there. Don't forget to subscribe if you've enjoyed this video. Watch the full playlist. Check out my other videos. I talk about lots of different stuff on this channel. Maybe you'd be interested to watch my video I just did on KSI, who found himself in a Hollywood contract. Oh yes, he also found himself locked up in a contract that was preventing him from making money on his YouTube videos, despite getting millions of views on all of his videos. Go check that out if you're interested. Don't forget to like the video. Other than that, guys, I've been talking for so long, and I can't believe that I've really got it here, but I've done it. God bless every single one of you. Just a quick reminder that I am truly doing this, guys, saying all this stuff to help, not to upset, not to be judgmental, not to think I'm better, because listen, everything I've said is all stuff I have to learn myself, and stuff I'm learning myself. And that's why I'm sharing it with y'all, because as I go on the journey, my YouTube channel is a journey. I speak on stuff, but it's me sharing my journey, seeking truth for myself and for others. God bless every single one of you, and I'll see you in my next one. Goodbye.